All right, boys, today on the HELLSTANG project, we need to get this drive shaft installed back into the car. And before we do, I need to get a couple new U-joints put onto this thing. Then we can get it bolted back in, stabbed in, get the transmission filled up with some fluid, and put our shifter back. So stay tuned. Now you guys are going to be sort of proud of me because instead of buying some cheap Chinese, U-joints like I would normally prefer to do, I couldn't even find any. So when I was on Amazon searching around, it was Moog and then one other kind of high-end brand. So I think these things weren't super cheap, 15, 20 bucks each. So kind of more than I wanted to spend. But anyway, these things got greasable fittings, all that good stuff. So for where we're going, these things are, they're going to last forever, right? But should be pretty easy to get off. I don't think I've replaced U-joints on a drive shaft since I was in high school shop class. I mean, we're talking 20 plus years ago, fellas. It's been a minute, okay? So I'm going to try to get off these stupid clips. I think it's basically just get all the clips off, knock some stuff through there, use some sockets, I don't know, some kind of magic, make it work, and then we get it all replaced. So then it should be simple, as long as I can find the bolts to get this thing bolted back in there. All right, so I just popped out all four of these clips, and they all came out pretty easily, really quick. So when these guys are in here, I was just kind of pushing on this part forward, right? Because you got this little gap. So I was just taking my screwdriver and popping it, and they came out pretty easy. A couple I did have to just give it a couple taps with the mallet, and then boom, these things just popped right out. So that's probably going to be the easy part. Now we got to kind of drive some of these through and try to get these babies apart. So let me figure that out right now. All right, so I did take one of my paint markers and I made some marks here just so I can make sure this whole thing gets orientated back correctly. Who knows how much it really makes a difference, but let's just do it just to be safe. Now, I was watching some YouTube videos because I'm making absolutely zero progress trying to hammer these things out and stuff. So I looked online, I found one dude, he rented some kind of tool that is for U-joints. So I probably need to go rent that tool, but today's Easter, so that's not going to happen. We'll have to wait to probably do this tomorrow. Huh? Take a look at this, boys. So I don't know if you guys believe in coincidences, but Sunday night, after we were playing around with this ugly, nasty, original drive shaft, I ended up, when I was just, searching on Marketplace like I always am, I ended up finding a local dude that had a brand new, in-the-box M-4602-G aluminum Ford racing drive shaft, baby. He bought it for his project, ended up not using it, and it was literally brand new in the box. So I ended up scoring this thing for 300 bucks, which is a little bit of a discount because if you look around online, they're about $450. I did see some for like $350, but anyone who had them advertised for $350 didn't have them in stock. So it seemed like $450 is about the going rate. So anyway, after I was kind of thinking about it, I was like, all right, this is, 40-ish bucks just in U-joints. So for like an extra $250, we can get a brand new aluminum drive shaft that is not only about 4 pounds lighter in rotational mass, but it's also going to be stronger. And, it doesn't look like this crusty piece of garbage. So we'll get rid of this thing. Now all we got to do is just bolt this thing out. We don't have to worry about replacing U-joints, baby. Let's bolt it on and roll. Oh man, you can just feel the difference. So have a look at this bad boy. She is beautiful. So all brand new U-joints, brand new clips. Man, this thing is sweet. So anyway, now all we got to do, let's just take this girl and go ahead and bolt her on in. So let's get the car jacked up, get underneath her, get this done. Now, if you boys remember to get the drive shaft in, it's real easy. We're just going to slide it up into the back of the transmission. Then there's just 4 bolts on this side. Now, these are some weird 12.12 millimeter socket. So, yeah, get yourself one of those bad boys loaded up, and we're just going to stick it in, get that thing buttoned down, and then we can move inside the car and get the transmission filled up with some fluid. All right, so our shiny new aluminum drive shaft. Where is this bad boy? I couldn't see it. Anyway, so that baby is all in there, super easy install, 4 bolts, you know. So I was able to ratchet it down with my ratchet, and then I had to use my little 12-point wrench to get it tight. So now we can move up top. Let's throw in some trans fluid. All right, so inside the car, we now need to fill up this transmission with fluid, and I'm actually going to fill it up from right here. So I do have to be careful. I don't want to spill transmission fluid. According to the little thing that I've got, this takes 2.8 quarts, and it just takes some automatic transmission fluid. Now, one cool thing I did end up buying when I was doing some research on these is this little plastic cup for the shifter. So this is the factory piece. It's plastic, and apparently these things can break and get damaged. And so there's a replacement piece, which is this guy right here. This is a brass or bronze. It's probably brass, but anyway, it's really cheap, like 10 or 15 bucks. And so now we should not have to worry about this thing ever breaking. And look at that, it's supposed to improve shifter feel. I doubt we'll tell absolutely any difference, but hey, anything you can replace with plastic, with metal, I'm all for it. So let's get that out of there, and we'll go ahead and get this thing filled up with some fluid, and then we can get our shifter back on. All right, so now obviously my seats are moved, but man, the access was pretty dang easy, and I got 2.8 quarts filled right in there, didn't spill a freaking drop. So certainly way freaking easier doing it this way than from underneath the car. That is for sure. So now we just need to get the shifter put back in. All right, so I'm messing with the shifter, and this is that brass bushing we got, right? And it was super duper tight to get it onto the ball here, so I tried tapping it on, thinking if I tapped it on, then it might seat and be all right and move around, but nope. It's just look at it, doesn't even rotate on the ball. It's just stuck. So I don't like this thing. I'm not going to use it. I mean, you probably could maybe just sand, kind of sand this down or sand the inside a bit just to give it some extra clearance, but it's just too dang tight. So this is easy enough to change. If that stupid plastic bushing ever breaks, I can replace it down the road, but we're just going to put that thing back in and return this stupid thing because this is not machined properly for this. So let's get this thing back off, and then we can try to pop the shifter back in. Now with this factory piece, we can see that it's still a tight fit. You just kind of got to push it on a little bit, but once it's on, right, it can move and pivot as the shifter moves. So that was not the case on the other one. When I went and installed it and you couldn't even get the shifter to move, it was horrible. So, all right, so this is good to go. I'm going to put probably a little bit of RTV around just to seal it up. And they also make a cool gasket I saw, but I just don't have the gasket with me, and it takes a few days. Like it wasn't on Amazon, I don't think, but it was like sort of expensive for the stupid gasket, like 15 or 20 bucks, but it looked really cool. Supposedly it reduces vibration, but basically I hate using RTV, so crap gets everywhere. So I'm just gonna put a small, tiny amount of RTV. I don't even know if it's needed, but I'm just gonna do it just to be safe, and then let's get this stupid thing bolted on. All right, shifter is all back together. I'm not going to put the whole trim on and stuff because we still got to cut this thing out eventually for the cup holders, and we'll probably have to clean all that out, but good enough for now. I can tell the shifter is better than it used to be. If you guys remember when we first installed, this is like the $40 Amazon special Chinese knockoff. When we first installed it, it worked and stuff, but it was just really, really loose, kind of sloppy because the springs that were in there were too light. So now I have the heavy springs in there. It does feel better, but I can tell you, like, just from not using this thing in a long time, I mean, you can tell it's a cheap $40 shifter. Like, it is definitely not as smooth and nice as some of the higher end shifters. So maybe down the road, if I can catch a good deal on like a used shifter for 50 bucks, 75 bucks, I'll probably just end up doing that and swap this thing out. But I mean, it's still better than the stocker. It is a nice short shift, so it's good. But anyway, good enough. So that job is finito. The cool thing is, We got a nice solid clutch. We got our shifter action, baby. Pretty sweet. Can't wait to get my knob and stuff all back on there. Get all this back on. Man, yeah. Boop, boop, boop. It's going to be cool. All right, guys, this is going to finish up our driveline video. Look at this. I got freaking RTV. I told you, RTV just gets freaking everywhere, right? So this is going to finish up our video for this driveline install. So we got our new aluminum Ford Racing drive shaft in there. I'll put the link down below if you want to check that out. And we got the stock shifter back in, that stupid brass bushing thing. You know, if you can get one that works, it's a great idea, but the one that I got, unfortunately, just wasn't machined quite right, even though it said it was supposed to fit, you know, a Ford T5 trans. So anyway, that's all good. Trans fluid's in, so all that part is freaking done. The only thing we got left to do in the next few days is I did end up finding a deal on some a used Stifler's tubular cross member with a polyurethane transmission mount. So I ended up finding that for like $100 used. And I also had the guy send me a Stifler's drive shaft safety loop that bolts to like the transmission mount. So both of those things are coming. Got both those for $100, $200 shipped. So I think the one's like $200 new, the other one's like 150-ish new or something like that. So saved a little bit of money. Figured, hey, it'll be cool. Let's just get that all put on too. So when that gets here in a few days, we'll throw that stuff on. But the next main video that should be coming out is we're going to be finishing getting all the turbo manifold stuff. Let's get the manifolds, the crossover, all that crap put on. So that's going to be really exciting to see that all on there. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We only got about 60-ish days left until we leave for the power tour, and this car has to be done. Otherwise, I'm going to have to be getting a plan B. So take care, guys.